Edinburgh Zoo have their fingers crossed that their female giant panda is a mum-to-be. They say hormone levels and changes in TNTN's behaviour suggest she's pregnant, but they haven't yet been able to carry out ultrasound checks to confirm the news. Even so, people visiting Edinburgh Zoo are very excited.
Brilliant news. It'd be great if she was. It's awesome. I mean, for Edinburgh, it would be great if she was definitely pregnant.
Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, hopefully, like I say, be able to come back and see the baby.
In sport.
Radio West Fife.
Good morning, you're listening to the Feel Good Friday Show with Michael Boyd.
You're listening to Michael Boyd on Radio West Fife. Your number one on your number one.
Yes, you're number one, and we're going to be talking to a guy who's going to climb Mount Toubkal. That's in western Morocco, and his name is Jock McInness. Jock McInness. He's going to be doing that for the East Fife FC Youth team, and he's going to be raising funds next year, 2014, so listening for that. He's going to be in the studio for about 20 minutes time, and we've got more about RSPB, the Big Wild Sleepout, and Kinross Show. Stay tuned. Yes, the sun always shines on TV. It doesn't really, it always shines on your radio, so that's why you're tuned to Radio West Fife. And in about 15 minutes, about 10 or 15 minutes, we're going to be talking to Jock McInness, who's going to be climbing a big mountain, Mount Toubkal, or Toubkal, or I'm sure you'll correct me on the pronunciation of that. And that's southwestern Morocco, and it's 13,671 feet high. And coming up on the show, we've also got a live interview which we recorded with the RSPB, the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, with Uwe Stoneman, and he's the Tayside Reserves manager. And Uwe Stoneman gave a terrific interview and a terrific insight into what it's like to be a ranger and what you can do this weekend, how you can get involved this weekend and book a camping trip with those people who know everything about the countryside. And if you want to learn something, you want to take the family along to learn about the countryside, birds, their habitats, and bats. Yes, bats. At night, then it's a place to be this weekend. You can go into the RSPB website and book a booking for the camping trip. It's for one night only, and you'll get breakfast. They'll cook you breakfast in the morning. How's that? A bacon butty or a veggie butty, whatever you want. Later on, we're going to hear from a lady called the Vice President of Kinross Show. She's going to be coming, she's going to be on the airwaves. We did an interview with her yesterday in the middle of a field. Because the Kinross Show is now in a bigger field, it's bigger and better. And Claire Payton was there in the thick of the action yesterday, organising everything. And I chatted to her, and we're going to have that interview later on. But first, we're going to have Jock McInness in about 10 minutes, so stay tuned. Here's Avicii. Yeah, Jock McInness has just arrived in the studio, and we're going to hear from him shortly, just in about 5 minutes' time.
Learning to drive with your mum and dad isn't much fun.
Are you over 60 years of age or over 50 with a disability and own your own home in Fife? If so, you might be entitled to use the Fife Small Repair Service run by Kingdom Housing Association. The Small Repair Service employ a qualified Disclosure Scotland check tradesperson who can carry out certain small repairs in the homes of qualifying clients, helping to keep homes wind and watertight, safe and secure. There is a £10 charge per visit, and any materials used will be billed at cost price. For further information, please call 01592 632 592 and a member of the Fife Small Repair Service will be happy to help. And that number again, 01592 632 592.
Yes, after the next track, which is going to be One for Sorrow by Steps, we're going to be chatting to Jock McInness, who's going to be talking to us about how he's going to raise funds for East Fife Scotland youth team.
At the heart of the community, Michael Boyd on Radio West Fife.
Yes, One for Sorrow by Steps. And in the studio today, we've got Jock McInness, and he's from East Fife Football Club, and he's going to be raising funds for them, hopefully, next year. And we're hoping that everyone listening to Radio West Fife is going to come on board with this, because he's going to be climbing Mount Toubkal? Toubkal. And Toubkal is in, where's that?
It's western Morocco.
Western Morocco? How are you going to get there? I'm interested. Are you going to walk there?
No. Well, there's actually a large group of us, about 20. Depart in London early June 2014, after the end of the football season. Fly over to Morocco into Marrakesh, one night in Marrakesh, then that's the start of the adventure.
Right, so are you actually starting from base camp?
There will be a base camp, but before the base camp there'll actually be a few climate treks, we'll say, just to get us used to the terrain, etc., and the heat.
Right, okay. So you having to do some sort of acclimatising training with that? Or?
Yes, not in Scotland, because we don't have the weather, although we have had some nice weather. Yeah. But once we get over there, it's a case of just get out there and get on the hills, get used to walking in the intense heat, and just up and down.
So I would imagine you've done this before, have you? Is this a new venture for you?
No, I've done quite a few treks before in different countries, and in fact all over the world. So I'm quite used to doing this.
That height of hill, I mean, you're actually going to climb to the top, is that correct?
The summit, yeah.
Right.
It's not the highest mountain I've ever done. I mean, this is the highest mountain in the Atlas Mountains in western Morocco. The highest mountain in Africa is actually, freestanding mountain is Mount Kilimanjaro, and I've done that a few years ago. I've been to Russia and I've done the highest one there as well. So
just to give the listeners an appreciation of the scale of the mountain, at 29,000 feet is about the height of Mount Everest, okay? So this is just nearly halfway, or just about halfway.
Yeah. Bringing it closer to home, you're looking at 3 Ben Nevises stacked on each other.
I mean, how long do you anticipate this taking you to do? I mean, is it going to take a week or a couple of days?
It's 8 days. It's an 8-day intense package, we'll say, because it's a couple of days for travelling, then you get 1 day off in your week, which is 24 hours in Marrakesh. And people would give the right arms to do that, but it's a fantastic city. I've been there before. It's beautiful.
And I would imagine that your diet and fitness have to be key to this, yeah?
I would say an average fitness for this, because although when you do sign up to go on the trip, you're getting guidance on your fitness levels all the way through, and they keep you right. Dietary, well, we can't eat what they eat over there if you go to the fancy restaurants and that, but you'll soon get used to it when you're over there.
So it's all about raising funds for East Fife Football Club and the youth team. Why has this become necessary? Are you needing the funding?
I think every team in Scotland's needing the funding. I mean, I've been an East Fife supporter for 50 odd years, and I've been raising money for charities for 18 years. I feel that every football supporter, which I'm a big football supporter, and every football supporter that's listening to this will thinking about their own team and the financial side of it. Directors and managers are always asking for money, and this is a great way that any supporters, I'm talking about Dunfermline, Raith Rovers, Cowdenbeath, any of them, could come on board and say, right, I'm going to go that extra mile plus for my team. I'm going to go and do a big trek, and I'll be sponsored by the club, my family, the people that drink at my pub. Everybody can get on board and help me out. So I would actually love Raith Rovers, Dunfermline, Cowdenbeath fans to say, yeah, okay, Jock, you're doing it with East Fife, I want to do it for my club, and get on board.
So you're looking for anyone from any other team, Dunfermline, Raith Rovers, any supporters that want to get involved in this venture to come on board?
Yeah, just get in touch with me, and I'll leave all my details with you. And it's a case of come on board, support your team, and the best way to support your team is get your top on, come with me out on the track, and let's get to the top of this mountain, and we'll have all the teams represented on top of that Toubkal.
Well, there's an opportunity for any fans out there who want to become involved. Get in touch with us at Radio West Fife, or you can get in touch with Jock McInness on the email, which I'll give you after this track. This is Walking Mem.
It's Michael's Feel Good Friday show on Radio West Fife.
Yes, it certainly is. We're back in the studio with Jock McInness, and he's raising funds in 2014, climbing Mount Toubkal in southwestern Morocco, 13,671 feet, and his vision is to see five team fans up on the top of that mountain all together, hand in hand, arm in arm, having raised a lot of money for charity. You're looking for other supporters to come on board. You don't have to be an East of Fife Football Club supporter. You can be a Dunfermline supporter. You can be a Raith Rover supporter.
Even Cowdenbeath.
Even Cowdenbeath. All welcome to get up on that mountain and raise a fantastic amount of money for charity. Jock, I'd just like to ask you, what made you think of this in the first place? I mean, I know you've raised quite a lot of money for charity over the years, but this specific cause, why did it come to your heart?
Well, I'm originally from Metho, and I've grown up in Metho. East Fife Football Club at the moment have a great youth development policy, and they're getting bairns off the street and they're getting them out there. And I know Dunfermline and Raith Rovers and Cowdenbeath and everybody else is doing the same, but at all costs. And there's not a lot of money in football now. How else do you get the money in? The supporters will support us and do it as well, but by getting the rucksack on their back, getting out, doing a bit of training, raising funds, and getting a trip of a lifetime at the same time.
Yeah. You talked about training there. What is the training commitment for this sort of fundraising?
Once whoever wants more information on this and get in touch with me, and then they consider doing it, I can steer them in the right direction on the training side. I'm an outdoor pursuits instructor as well, so I can keep people right there on what to do, when to do it, and all aspects of the training on it.
Right, so you talked about getting in touch there. I mean, you've got a telephone number here.
Yes.
It's a Perth number. It's 01738 551 020, and we'll feature that on our Facebook page to help you along. And you've got an email address. It's absale@hotmail.co.uk. That's quite easy to remember.
It's an easy one, yes.
You're going to get up the mountain and you're going to abseil down it.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But there will be quite a few challenges along the way up that mountain. Yeah.
There'll be many challenges. I mean, we're very lucky. We live in quite a privileged state. You know, people wake up some morning, it's pouring the rain, and look out and go, I'm not too happy about this. But we are quite privileged. But you'll see how privileged you are once you get out there, and your toilets are not the flush toilets, the long drops, and your food's not laid out by your mum. It's probably put together by a cameleer or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a case, just because it's raining, you get up and you still go out and you still go up that mountain.
Yeah. So it's just not just a fundraising event. It's a life experience to get out there and experience this beautiful country and the beautiful